What is up, everybody? In this video I will be going over some tips and tricks that you can do with Horizon. Now before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get right into this video. Make sure you guys comment what your favorite tip is. Now we're going to start off with the more common tips, and then they'll get more advanced the further into the video. So for tip number 1, there are yellow barriers around the map that are made to stop tridents, but some of those are pathways that you would need to take to get to the next zone. So in the clip right here, you can see us use her tactical to get the trident over, and we can keep going to the next zone. Now that one was kind of obvious, but I just thought I'd put it in there because it technically is a tip, and some people would probably like to know that. For tip number 2 is use her tactical in the middle of fights. This can throw your enemy's aim off and give you the advantage. Now I don't have a video of me using it, but as you can see right here, I could get behind the enemy, and I use this a lot in fights. I just unfortunately was not recording whenever I would do this. For tip number 3, it involves Horizon's tactical. Now a lot of these tips involve Horizon's tactical because her tactical is just so good. But it's not that practical because it involves the enemy knocking you with a nade, and not too many times will I be knocked by the enemy's nade or them even pulling out a nade. But right here, if a nade lands next to you, you can throw your tactical at your feet to lift you above the blast radius. This has saved me a couple times, and the first time it happened, I was just like, I gotta put that in the video. Now for tip number 4, you can use Horizon's ult to block doors. And when I say block doors, it's like a different kind of block doors. Not like hold the door shut, but more or less boosting them up. So if you throw it in front of a door, if you run into a room and throw it in front of the door and they try to chase you, they'll just get lifted up and they won't be able to enter the room. You can also do this in elevators, and I'll show you a clip right here of me using it in an elevator, and if people were chasing me, they wouldn't be able to chase me. They would just get lifted back up until the cooldown was over. So now we're coming up on the last 2 tips, and these tips are my favorite tips. So for tip number 5, if Horizon throws her black hole and you get sucked into it, you can just throw your tactical at your feet and it will pull you out of the black hole, and the launch that you get from leaving the black hole will just send you flying and out of the radius of the black hole. For tip number 6, which is my absolute favorite, and that's why I saved it for last, and this has won me so many games, you can use Horizon's tactical to boost knocked players over cover or into cover. I'm going to show you a clip right here of me using it and just boosting my teammate over into cover where I can safely revive them. Now let's just go over all the tips so you just remember all of them right now. So for tip number 1, we use Horizon's tactical to take tridents over barriers so we can keep moving to the next circle. For tip number 2, you're going to use Horizon's tactical in the middle of fights to go over small pieces of cover, which will give you the jump on the enemy. For tip number 3, we use Horizon's tactical to boost us over nades or even caustic ults or caustic barrels, which could potentially save us from being eliminated or getting knocked. For tip number 4, we use her tactical to block doors to stop the enemy advance. For tip number 5, we use Horizon's tactical to boost us out of other Horizon's ultimate. And finally, for tip number 6, my favorite tip, we use her tactical to boost our teammates over cover or into cover. I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you did, make sure you like and subscribe.